First at 4, powerful winds battering southeast Michigan. How much longer are we going to have to deal with these? When will we finally see some relief? Karen?
All right, Ben. Also, first at 4, she says she feels your pain. Governor Whitmer talks about tough choices and her new request to President Trump. Good afternoon, Paula.
A local senior isn't worried about his schoolwork or even graduation. He's worried about what he can do to help healthcare workers and first responders. And what he's doing is amazing.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, more than 16,000 people have already lost their power. Many more are watching some very nasty wind gusts, hoping they don't end up in the dark. So let's get over to Ben Bailey. Ben, how long will these winds last?
You know, Karen, the good news is we're pretty much in the peak of some of the worst of these winds right now. And once we get closer to dinner time and beyond, we're going to start seeing these numbers go down. But as of the next couple hours, we still could be seeing some additional power outages from these winds. Current gusts are anywhere from about the mid 30 mile per hour range to the low 40s. We have seen a couple gusts that have actually hit 50 miles per hour so far. And that's why that wind advisory remains in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. Yes, we're going to see the winds subside, but they're still going to be fast enough that we could be seeing some effects, some minor power outages as we get into the late evening hours. Lakeshore flood warnings also in effect for St. Clair County. Remember, these west winds could be causing significant lakeshore flooding up around Lake St. Clair, especially Harson's Island, Anchor Bay, and the north shore of the lake. You can see the winds diminishing through the evening. Temperatures getting colder too, and we'll talk more about how that's going to play into tomorrow morning in just a few minutes. Karen?
Thank you very much, Ben. Breaking news on the coronavirus crisis on this Monday afternoon from both Governor Whitmer and Detroit's mayor. Up first, we want to bring you up to date on the number of cases here in our state. Today, we have more than 25,000 infections. The number of deaths is up to nearly 1,700. This afternoon, Mayor Mike Duggan says the city is focusing on its nursing homes where 30 to 50% of the residents are testing positive. The city will boost testing and work to make sure infected residents are properly isolated. The mayor also says the growth of the death rate has slowed, which is a step in the right direction.
There is no question the progress we're making is because of the people in the city of Detroit honoring the request for social distancing.
All right, let's get to Kimberly Gill. She is in the newsroom tracking the update that we just received from the governor. She had lots to say this afternoon, Kim.
Yes, she really did. And Karen, good afternoon to you. This was the governor's first statewide update since she extended her stay-at-home order last Thursday. So she's come under criticism, I should say, about whether the order goes too far and about the high costs. Well, her message today, she believes the steps are necessary, and she says she doesn't take them lightly.
Because this is tough stuff, and I know that people in our state are paying a price for the decisions that we have to make in this moment. I understand that incredible hardship that people are going through, the worry about your job, the depression of isolation, the sadness of missing out on events that you had planned to take part in, the loneliness of celebrating a holiday without your loved ones, the stress of not being at work, or the confusion of just trying to figure out why you can buy a lottery ticket and not seeds.
Well, the governor says her team is looking at the data every day to see when the state can reopen safely. Governor Whitmer has joined a coalition of 12 other governors asking President Trump for a special 30-day window to register for health insurance on the federal exchange. She's working with the state's insurance companies to help with the costs connected to COVID-19. The state is starting 13 new drive-through testing sites in the state, including new options in Detroit as well as Flint. And the state is also opening a new hotline to help with stress connected to the virus. That number to call is 888-PEER-753. Again, 888-PEER-753. 753. We'll post that number on our website if you need to go and find it. We are still sorting through the governor's comments. She just finished just a few moments ago if you were watching. Our coverage will continue tonight at 5. Karen, for now, we'll just go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
New research today being published constantly to help increase the understanding of COVID-19. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge here with the very latest on a drug that was originally developed in the fight against Ebola.
This small study consisted of 53 patients that were hospitalized for severe COVID-19 and were treated with remdesivir. Now, there was no control group of patients, meaning every patient actually received the drug. Now, remdesivir was designed to slow the infection of healthy cells by helping to block the virus's ability to reproduce itself. 30 of the 53 patients were on a ventilator at the beginning of the study. Each received 10 days of treatment with remdesivir and were followed for a median of 18 days. At the end of the study, 68% of the patients showed improvement, 47% were successfully discharged, and 13% died. But because this was not a randomized controlled trial, where some patients would have received a placebo instead of the actual drug, it's just not possible to say if the improvement was due to the drug, but it did not appear to cause any harm. Now, there are preliminary results expected at the end of this month from a different randomized clinical trial that was conducted in China in moderate and severe COVID-19 patients. And that study may be more helpful in deciding whether or not remdesivir is truly helpful or not. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Doc. There is a lot going on with the economic impact of the virus, from stimulus checks to unemployment. So let's start with breaking news from Wall Street, where the markets are closing right now. You can see the Dow closing 328 points down. Now, there was hope that a new deal between Saudi Arabia and Russia to slash oil production would give the market a boost, but that deal only cuts crude oil output by 10%. The drop in demand is much bigger because people are driving so much less. On the bright side, deal does end a price war that was slamming oil and gas producers here in the U.S. There is so much anger over Michigan's unemployment system right now. The website keeps crashing day after day, hour after hour, and now even more people are trying to get into that system. Today is the first day that the self-employed, gig workers, and others can apply, but the system is already overloaded with the already record number of applications. Remember, you are asked to file claims on specific days, and that's based on the first letter of your last name. You can find that schedule in the coronavirus resources section on our homepage of clickondetroit.com. Help Me Hank working on getting some new information from the state, and he'll join us at 5. Also online, we have posted an article called Get My Payment to help you claim some of that stimulus money. Direct deposits are going out this week to people who qualify and file income taxes. Non-filers can use a new IRS website to try to claim payments more quickly. And we did post that information that you need also on the coronavirus page on clickondetroit.com. It's common to see people wearing face masks these days, but there is a hidden irritant right behind your ears. Many essential workers who are forced to wear the masks for seemingly endless hours get a sore ear because of that constant rubbing of the elastic. Paula Tutman introduces us to a young man who has put his studies aside to fix the problem.
You know, without question, there are a lot of seniors out there who are concerned about their graduation and what's next. What's so incredible about the story of this young man I'm about to tell you, who is a maker, and you've got to love these makers, is he's really not concerned about his future. At the moment, he's really concerned about right now.
The world is trying to help the world, and 17-year-old Foster Carragay of Troy has answered. He owns several 3D printers and got a notice from his manufacturer.
They sent out some emails saying, hey, we have some files to print face shields. And I thought that was really cool that we're actually taking 3D printing and turning it into something that could make it like fill the gap in the supply chain that we currently have. So I was going to go ahead and start doing that, but then I realized that I don't have a method to cut like mass amounts of clear plastic.
But instead of deciding he couldn't help, he figured out a way where he could.
So where are we right now?
In my basement.
Okay. So that's your workshop, right?
Yeah, essentially.
He'd heard complaints that the elastic on simple face masks could be irritating and uncomfortable, and so he began designing ear protectors.
You put the mask on, and then take like one side of it, put it right on there, bring it around to the other side. Simple as that. And it keeps it off of on the top of your ears, and it puts them actually below your ears, while still, you know, holding it against your face.
And so with his 3D printers in his basement,
just been going nonstop,
and his immediate family as his crew, he's gone to work doing his part to make protective masks more comfortable.
The elastic from the actual masks, instead of resting around your ears, they rest on these little nubs.
You've not had time to put in a patent for this, but it's a much needed item, right? Do you even care about that, or you just want to help?
I'm not one to chase after that.
We're donating them 100% free. That's one of the biggest misconceptions we've been having, is that people want to, say, oh, we'll buy 100 of them. You can have 100 of them,
He gives handfuls to doctors and nurses he knows, but says any first responder, healthcare worker, delivery person, or grocery store worker is his top priority.
Never really thought that something as simple as 3D printing these would be such a big impact on the community.
Paula Tutman, Local 4.
And those items are earmarked for essential workers only. We'll put a contact form for essential worker groups to reach out to Foster on our social media platforms. Breaking news in the presidential race, where Bernie Sanders has just endorsed former rival Joe Biden. Sanders dropped out of the race last week, but didn't immediately offer his full support. Now he says he's asking all Americans to support the former vice president. Critical endorsement as Biden tries to unite Democrats as he prepares to face President Trump in November. Easter Sunday was a deadly and destructive day across much of the southern U.S. Take a look at some of the damage from tornadoes and violent storms. At least 30 people were killed across 6 southern states, 11 of them just in Mississippi alone. More than 1 million homes and businesses are without power across the South this afternoon. While no deaths have been reported in Louisiana, there was major damage around the city of Monroe. The regional airport also hit hard. Planes on the tarmac heavily damaged. At least one hangar was torn apart. Destruction at the airport estimated to be at least $30 million. The state is arranging for hotel rooms for more than 300 people who lost their homes. Still ahead, your first at 4. If you're looking for a new homeschooling idea, we have 7 days of activities that you can turn into an important civics lesson. Also, we'll talk about why some of this snow will be sticking around until September. And the story of one father who turned to an out-of-this-world solution to protect his son from the coronavirus. That story coming up after the break.